Student loans are not just for college kids. There are nearly 24 million borrowers over age 35, and people over 60 are the fastest growing population of student debt holders by age. Among borrowers 62 and older, federal debt has increased nearly 27% since 2017, and the vast majority of student debt is federal. Adults 50 and older owe around 1/4 of all outstanding student debt, which totals more than $1.6 trillion. Some older borrowers took out debt to help their children, but most over 65 have outstanding loans from their own education. In some cases, the debt is decades old. If you or a loved one fall into this category, here's what you should know. Student debt is particularly problematic for older people because they have less time in their working lives to pay it off. Making debt payments could affect their ability to pay down a mortgage or contribute to a retirement account like a 401k, two things that could help them have a secure retirement. In some cases, the debt amount may have ballooned over time thanks to interest and fees, and borrowers face the risk of having their wages or Social Security benefits garnished to pay it off. For decades, people have had the ability to make payments based on a percentage of their income in what's known as an income-driven repayment plan, and they often could have the balance canceled after 20 years of payments. The Biden administration launched a new income-driven repayment plan known as the SAVE plan that offered more benefits to debt holders. SAVE decreases what borrowers have to put toward their debt each month, shortens the timeline of debt relief to a decade for borrowers who took on $12,000 or less, and has the government pay the interest that a borrower's payment doesn't cover. But parts of the SAVE plan have been challenged by lawsuits from Republican-led states, and federal courts temporarily blocked it while the litigation continues. Even as some of his ambitious plans are held up in the courts, Biden's administration canceled student debt for nearly 5 million people since he took office. And many were older, since a lot of cancellations were for people who had been in repayment for at least 20 years. The SAVE plan's fate is in question as Donald Trump takes office. Here are a few options of what could happen. It's possible Trump could create his own plan to deal with student debt. During his first term, his administration proposed eliminating all the available income-driven repayment options and replacing them with one plan that set a borrower's monthly payment at 12.5% of their discretionary income. That's higher than the 10% available on many plans today. Under that proposal, people with only undergraduate debt would have their loans canceled after 15 years of payments, compared to 20 years now required under most plans. Borrowers with graduate school debt would have had to make payments for 30 years before cancellation kicked in, compared to the 25 years commonly offered now. The authors of Project 2025 have suggested cutting the cancellation option for borrowers entirely. Project 2025 is a nearly 1,000-page handbook that lays out sweeping changes in the federal government to promote a conservative policy agenda. It remains to be seen to what extent Trump will adopt these policies. It's also possible that the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program may be in jeopardy. This program forgives the debt of government and nonprofit workers after at least 10 years of payments. During his first term, Trump proposed scrapping the program, but canceling it would require approval from Congress. Whatever lies ahead, if you're an older borrower or have a loved one who is, make sure you've investigated all the available income-driven repayment options at the government's website, studentaid.gov. If you're struggling to make payments, you might consider applying for deferment or forbearance, which pause your payments temporarily. But be sure to check whether interest will continue to accumulate while you're paused. And if you want more content like this from MarketWatch and the Explainomics playlist, please subscribe and keep checking back for new videos. And we'll see you next time.